Good afternoon. So welcome back sa ating session. And for today's topic, ang ating pag-aaralan is about polymorphism in C++. The word polymorphism means having many forms. Poly means many and morph is forms. So having many forms. And typically, polymorphism occurs when there is a hierarchy of class and they are related by inheritance. Polymorphism means that a call to a member function will cause a different function to be executed depending on the type of object that invokes the functions. So as you can see here, imagine that you have a base class here, and this class ay meron ding mga derived class. Okay? So you have a class in here, another object here, and another object here. So in this diagram, as you can see, yung base class natin, okay, itong si class A, itong si A, okay, ay dinerive ni B and ni class C. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng data members ni class A ay pwedeng i-access ni B at the same time pwedeng i-access ni C. So in this hierarchy of classes which are related, pwedeng mag-occur dyan ang polymorphism. So ibig sabihin na kung ang class natin na A is an animal class, an animal can be any animals. Just like, for example, it can be a dog or it can be a cat. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kung ano yung mga data members na magkakatulad from class B and class C, okay, ay pwede niyong pagsamahin. Okay, so let's see this example. Okay, so let's have this example. So in this example, we have the base class named shape. Okay? We have the base class named shape. And we declared a protected variables here, the width and the height. And a public constructor named shape. We create a public constructor named shape, okay, with two parameters, A, int A, and int B. So those values na ipapasa sa kanya will be stored in our variable width and variable height. And also, we have here a method named area. So let's remove this first, this virtual. So later I will explain to you why we need to use that virtual keyword. So in this method, it will display a text, okay, parent class areas, just to determine na kapag tinawag natin yung constructor na shape at nagpasa tayo ng parameter, dalawang parameter values, ay ito yung tatawagin niya, yung area method na galing kay parent class. Okay? Next, we have here the derived class named rectangle. So, a rectangle is a shape. Okay? That's why in-access niya ang mga data types ni shape. In the rectangle derived class, we create a constructor. A constructor that inherits, so inheritance, dito rin mag-a-apply, okay, inherits yung constructor ng ating base class na shape. So, meron din tayong, mag-accept din tayo ng parameter, dalawang integer, at si shape, mag-accept din syempre ng dalawang parameter. So, kung ano yung ipapasa natin dito. And then, we also created here a method named area. So, the same as yung ating base class. Okay? And ito naman, it will display the text that this rectangle class area. Dito galing sa rectangle class yung ating tinawag. And it will return a value na width times height. Okay? Okay, so another derived class here, we created a triangle. So this triangle, okay, inherits all the data members of the shape. So lahat ng public dito sa shape ay pwede niyang i-access. So nagawa din tayo ng constructor here, int A, 0, int B, 0. Okay, since 2 parameters yon. And dun sa ating base class, 2 parameters din siya, A and B. And we created here the same method name na area, which display triangle class area galing. And return the value, okay? So different computation here, okay? So here in the triangle, to get the area of the triangle, we need to multiply the width times height divide by 2. And for the rectangle, we need to multiply only the width and the height. So let's move on to our main function. In our main function, we created an object, okay, for the shape class. And ginawa natin siyang pointer. So ginawa natin siyang pointer para makuha natin yung specific na kailangan natin. And we also create the instance of an object of the constructor na rectangle. So we name this rect and pass 2 values, integer values na 10 and 7. The same thing with the triangle. We created an object try and pass 2 parameter values, 10 and 5. So by accessing each derived class using the shape object, okay, we reference that we want to access only the rect method or the rect object of the rectangle. Okay, so di ba si rect ay si kay rectangle. So it means that we want only to access the rectangle derived class in here and to store the address of the rectangle. Okay? And then to call the rectangle area method, okay, this method, to call this method, we need to use this, okay, this symbol, the dash and the greater than. So it means that the shape object wants to call the area of the rectangle. Area method of this derived class. Okay? So pag tinawag natin to, ito dapat ang i-execute niya at magre-return siya ng value. So kung ano yung pinasa natin na value with the rect object, 10 and 7, yun dapat yung papapunta dito sa ating width at sa ating height. So, i-multiply lang niya yun and then re-return niya kung ano man yung magiging result. The same thing dun sa ating second na derived class, na triangle. Sa triangle na derived class natin, okay, as you can see here, we reference that ang tatawagin ni shape na object, ang mapupunta sa kanyang value or may store sa kanya na address ay yung galing kay triangle. Okay? Yung value nun. And to call that function or method sa loob ng ating triangle na derived class, gumamit tayo ng ganito. So, ang tawag dito is yung dash at saka arrow. Okay? Para malaman na yung shape, ang ina-access niya ay yung kay triangle na derived class. So, kapag nira natin yung program na yan, okay, tatawagin niya yung area. Okay, tatawagin niya dito yung area, shape area. So, sa palagay ninyo, matatawag ba itong area dito? Matatawag ba itong method dito? Okay, so let's try this example. So, i-compile natin. Okay, then run natin. So, yung result natin is ito. Ang tinawag pa rin niya is yung nasa parent class natin. So, parent class area. So, the area of the rectangle is 0. Parent class area, the area of the triangle is 0. Okay, in-execute lang yun. So, parehong parent area class. Sa parent area class natin, ay wala tayong ginawang computation. Nag-return lang tayo ng 0. So, kaya hindi natin na-compute yung pinasa natin na variable. Kahit nagpasa tayo dito at dito, hindi naman niya na-compute. Kasi nga, wala naman tayo ditong gagawin. So, para ma-access natin yung original, okay, o yung dapat talagang ma-access doon sa ating class, which is yung rectangle at saka triangle, we need to put here the virtual keyword. So, saan ba ginagamit si virtual? The reason for the incorrect output is that the call of the function area is being set once the compiler as the version defined in the base class. So, as you can see here, dito sa result natin, ang tinawag niya ay yung parent class area. Okay? So, balikan natin yung kanyang code. As you can see here, ito yung na-execute niyang values or display niya. Parent class area. Dapat ang ma-display natin is rectangle class area at triangle area. And the reason why, kung bakit siya mali ang result or yung output natin, kasi okay, static yung kanyang content. Bakit nag-static? The call function of the area is being set once by the compiler as the version defined in this base class. So this is called static resolution. So naka-static lang tayo dito. So kahit anong gawin natin na pagtawag dito sa dalawang ito, kung siya ay naka-static, okay, ito lagi yung matatawag na function. Si shape, di ba? Naggawa tayo ng shape dito, di ba? Si shape, tinawag si area. So, lagi niyang babasahin ay ito. Okay, nagets po ba? So, yun lagi niyong babasahin niya kapag ganyan yung ating ginawa. So, another term for that is the static linkage. The function call speaks before the program is executed. So, nakapix yan kapag ganyan. So, this is also sometimes called the early binding. So, early binding yung kanyang nangyari sa kanya. Because the area function is set during the compilation of the program. So, kasi, nung kinompile natin yung program, ito na agad yung kanyang naiset. Ito yung tatawagin niya. Okay? So, dapat, to resolve that, kailangan natin gumamit ng virtual. Okay? So, let's modify our code. Okay? Sa ating pinakang base class, dun sa ating, dito sa ating method na area, let's put a virtual keyword. Okay? So, saan ginagamit si virtual? Okay? So, kapag nilagyan natin ng virtual, the compiler looks at the contents of the pointer instead of its type. So, di ba, ginawa natin siyang pointer dito. So, nung tinawag natin siya dito, okay, since pointer yung ginamit natin na object, ang hahanapin niyang area, okay, ay hindi ito. So, maghahanap siya ngayon kung saan siya nakapoint. Okay? Inassign natin yung pointer na to dito kay, ang reference niya is yung rectangle. So, ang hahanapin na ngayon, okay, dahil may virtual na siya doon, hindi na siya yung hahanapin. Ang hahanapin niya na ay yung nasa, kung sino yung nakapoint sa kanya. Since si rec ang nakapoint sa kanya dito sa ating line na to, doon siya pupunta sa derived class ng rectangle, yung area na yon. As you can see, each of the child classes has separate implementation for the function area. So, we have different implementation ng area dito. So, we have here only multiply the width and the height, and here we have to multiply the width and the height and divide by 2 to get the area of the triangle. Okay? And this is how the polymorphism is generally used. So, dito ginagamit yung polymorphism. You have a different class with a function with the same name, just like this one, area, and even the same parameters. So, 2 parameters yung ginamit natin, but different implementation. So, yung pala yung paggamit ng ating polymorphism. Gagamit ka ng polymorphism kapag yung iyong function ay kapag may function ka na pareho ang pangalan pero magkaiba ng implementation. Kapag you can use polymorphism if you have the same name of the function, even the same parameters, but different implementation. So why virtual? A virtual function is a function-based class. So base class lang siya that is declared using the keyword virtual. So virtual function siya. Defining in the base class virtual function with another version in derived class. So kaya nga natin tinawag siyang virtual. Okay? So, hindi siya yung totoo. Or, meron pang ibang class na gumagamit, may iba pang function dun sa yung derived class na gumagamit din ng area. So, kaya kung hindi mo gagamitan ng pointer at ng reference, ang lagi lang i-access niya ay itong nasa loob ng ating base class. So, kapag gagamitin mo yon, kailangan gumamit ka ng pointer at ng reference na i-reference mo sa kanya kung aling derived class yung iyong i-access. Defining in a base class a virtual function with another version of the derived class, another version, signals to the compiler that we don't want static linkage for this function. So, yung pala yung kanyang pinakang ibig sabihin. Kapag gumamit ka ng virtual, ayaw ko na dito lang lagi pupunta or naka-static yung function na yun. Dito lagi siya magpupunta. What we want to do is the selection of the function be called at any given point in the program to be based of the kind of object for which is called. Okay? Sabihin nun. So, ang gusto kasi nating mangyari dito sa program is tawagin lang kung saan tayo nakapoint. Okay? Kung nakapoint tayo dito sa rectangle na derived class, yun yung tatawagin natin na area. Kung nakapoint tayo dito sa triangle na class, yun yung tatawagin natin na area. So, that is how polymorphism works. Alternatively, you can also use this kind of coding. So let's say virtual int area is equals to 0. Okay, so just to make it short, okay, so this is called a pure virtual function. So wala na siya ibang gagawin. Okay, automatically, pag nakaganto yung declaration mo sa yung function, yung naka-point mo dun sa yung main object or sa yung main function, kung ano yung naka-point doon sa object mo, yun lang yung kanyang pupuntahan. So, hindi na siya agad pupunta dito. So, ito yung another use kapag you want to use a pure virtual function. So, ang tawag dito is pure, declare a pure virtual function. Okay? So, that is how a polymorphism works in C++ programming. Okay? So, if you have question, just send me your question, just comment your question, and I will answer it as soon as possible. So thank you very much, and thank you for listening.